I'm sure you've heard by now that the Fed lowered the Federal Reserve interest rate last week, which means in our world that we get asked a bunch of questions about how much the mortgage rates went down in relation to that, to which we get to respond with the canned response that mortgage rates are not tied to the Federal Reserve rate, so they do not automatically adjust when the Fed adjusts that rate. However, the Fed rate does indirectly affect mortgage rates in that the commentary by the process of going through and cutting the rates, the Feds have a meeting, which then they release commentary afterwards where each of the board members speak about why they voted the way they did and kind of what they feel about the current state and the future state of the economy. And it is that commentary that can have a significant impact on the mortgage rates as it expresses to the American people, again, kind of what these super important monetary policies are and where they think the economy is going. So, all that said, the Fed did cut the rates last week. The commentary was different this time. This was a different commentary coming from the Fed, a much more dovish commentary than the October 29th commentary, which was very hawkish. So we heard some different things from Chairman Powell, leaning a little bit more towards potentially a cut at the beginning of the year before he leaves term in May. So that's typically pretty good for the market. There was just a little bit lighter of a tone from them, and I think that's probably going to have an impact on where we go from here. There's also been some other stuff in the news which seems to lean well towards interest rates maybe coming down on the mortgage side. From the White House, it looks like they've at least publicly kind of shifted gears a little bit on who they think is the leading candidate to replace Chairman Powell, and that could be a good thing. We've also got a lot of good commentary coming out, or a lot of good numbers coming out this week as far as inflation numbers, as far as housing numbers, and as far as job numbers. So we've seen the job market starting to soften a little bit, and hopefully inflation starting to level off, and both of those things happening could lead to some more lower interest rates. So hang in there. We hope this thing is righting the ship here pretty soon. Average rates are hovering just over 6% right now nationally, and we'd love to see those get down into the fives. And I think once that happens, we could have a pretty interesting winter or spring on our hands in the real estate market. I am Tom King. We are King Loans Cornerstone Mortgage. I hope you have a wonderful day.